Morning to you. It's Wednesday. Is Wednesday? It's not Thursday, is it? 1, 2, 3. No, Wednesday the 29th of May 2019. Welcome to Lincolnshire and this morning's United Kingdom talk, boys and girls. As you know, for breakfast, I generally have, actually, I've gone off them a bit now. I think I've had them too much. Overnight oats. That's like a little jar. So you get a jar and you put fat-free yogurt at the bottom, then porridge oats on top, just a little bit, and then blueberries or bananas or raspberry, whatever you want. And then you do it again, and you do it again. And if you're really greedy, you do it a third time. I only do it twice. I've got a bit fed up with those recently. And last night I was making it for this morning. I've stopped having a lot of that now and just having porridge in the morning. I do like a bit of porridge in the morning, don't you? So quick in the microwave. Not the instant porridge. I don't like that where it's all like chopped up finely and processed and all that business. Big bits of porridge, and you put it in there with some milk and put it in the microwave for about 8 minutes on sort of, not full power. Otherwise it rises up and goes all over into your microwave. Have you done that before? Oh, and I tend to do it in like a glass jug thing. You put it in the microwave, and if you put it on full power, you think, oh, I'll come back in a few minutes and stir it. And you always forget. And then the moment you remember to look over, you look over into that little glass door in the microwave, and there it is, pouring over onto the glass tray underneath. Oh, dear me. So I've started having that. I've got a lot now. But last night, I thought I'll have my overnight oats because I've got a load of yogurts in the fridge, which are just about to go out of date. So I'm making this, and I thought I'll put some honey in it as well. Sounds quite nice, doesn't it? Because on porridge, I will have honey on porridge. I prefer to have honey than sugar on porridge. Whether or not one is better than the other, I don't know. But it's nice to have a difference. So I do my porridge in the microwave with the milk. Once it's done, I bring it out, stir in a little bit of honey and eat. Oh, delicious. The overnight oats, slightly different. I told you how I make those. And for a change, I put a bit of honey in last night. And I thought, oh, that'd be nice. Quite nice to try that out. Anyway, I've got it out this morning. I'm watching BBC News on the telly this morning. And started eating it. Oh, it wasn't nice at all. Far too sweet for that time in the morning. How people can sit there eating those chocolate cocoa pops and frosties and stuff like that first thing in the morning. Absolutely covered in sugar, isn't it? Oh, it's too much, dear. Too much, it really is. Right, who's with us this morning? I was a little bit late logging on to the YouTube this morning for the messages. So, the first message, I can only see 2 messages on YouTube. The first from Claire. Good morning, Claire. Claire is in the house, who said she's just been watching some of my old episodes. 2009 with the Bingay. Yes, Claire. Bingay was a form of bingo that I used to host at a place called, several places actually, the Golden Lion, which was in King's Cross. It's no longer there now. We did it in a place in Ealing and also a place in Clapham as well. And I think it was another one. I think we did it somewhere else as well. I can't remember now. But basically, it was bingo. Now, when I went to Australia, sort of around 2000 and I think it was either 2008 or 2009. I came across this drag queen there called Mitzi McIntosh, who was like the top drag queen in Sydney in Australia. And she was playing at a place in Newtown, which is not too far from Sydney. I can't remember the name of the venue, but it was the venue that they used to film a lot of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Anyway, so I knew she was performing, and I'd heard that she was hosting this thing called Bingay, so I thought I'd go in and see it. Now, there were already people doing bingo nights, in bars and clubs in London, but it was basically, get your bingo tickets, someone hosting, usually a drag queen, and a minimal amount of prizes, So if you won the game, you might win a bottle of vodka or something like that. And that was basically it. Okay? I went to see Mitzi McIntosh's Bingay, it turned into a show. They turned a bingo night into a show, and it was fantastic. There she was, sitting there on a little thing in front of literally just sitting on a chair in front of a stage full of prizes. I mean, full of prizes. It really was. Big stage. Stacked up prizes like this. I thought, okay. So she starts doing it. Of course, she's reading the numbers and a little bit of comedy in there as well. And there were certain numbers where something would happen. For example, 5 and 4, 54. So 54, and she say Studio 54, where songs like this was sung, and someone would start singing a song. And it was all just little things like that. Maggie's Den, number 10. She didn't do that one, but we would do that one here. And just stuff like that. And I thought, this is absolutely brilliant. Watched her doing this. And then I came back to the UK, and I found a venue to do it, and I started doing it myself. And I did it not the same as that, but similar. And I went out and sought out lots of prizes for the stage. I would have a small prize perhaps for a one-line win. If you know about bingo, you know, you get 1 line, 2 lines and a full house, okay? So 1 line win would be like a small prize, perhaps like some CD singles, okay? Maybe a bar of chocolate, something like that. That would be a single prize. Then there'd be the 2-line prizes, would be the small, you know, the tubes of sweets that you can buy. I think they're about £2.50. I think they're about £3 now, actually, like a little carton of sweets. You might have some cheap CD albums, because we were doing CDs at the time. There was no computer. There wasn't really computers. Well, there was computers around then, but not like it is now, not like MP3s and all that business. Everyone was still on CDs, and there might be some half bottles, like, you know, like the full size ones, the half bottles of unbranded spirits. So that would be the 2-line prizes. And the full house prizes, we'd have branded spirits like Smirnoff, Teachers, stuff like that. We'd have chart DVDs and chart CD albums, and electrical items as well. There was one period where we were actually giving away televisions as prizes for the full house prize. That's a good prize, isn't it? Good prize, televisions. And the way the financing side of it was run by the sale of the tickets. So on the night you'd sell tickets, £1 a strip, and that money would go back in to buying the prizes for the next for the next one. Yeah. Obviously, right at the very beginning, I had to shell out a load of money for all these prizes, but we literally had a stage full of prizes, all lined out, a little bit of a tinsel and, you know, a little bit of sparkly all around there, and it worked quite well, as you saw from the video there. And it was good fun doing it, but let me tell you, it was so much work. Oh Lord, you were constantly going out, and whenever I was out somewhere, I'd be thinking, oh, that's quite good for the bingo, and I might buy something there, and you had to guess what people would want as prizes. There was sometimes I would see something, maybe I remember the Lips telephone. Lips. So it was a telephone in the shape of lips, and these 2 lips would come together, and the receiver, you would pick one up, and then that lip would be the receiver of the telephone, and the other bit would be down there. And I bought a few of those. No one wanted those. So I would see something perhaps and say, oh no, they're only 10 quid each. I'll have 4 of those. And I'd buy 4, put them on, and they wouldn't go. You know, so you had to try and think really carefully what people would want as prizes. We had all sorts of stuff. Toasters, there was kettles, I think we had books, there was always lots of sweets and music related things, and booze, of course, cans of lager, bottles of drinks. And to a point it worked, but it was damn hard work. It was really hard work. You had to carry all this stuff around in the back of your car. And I only had a little car, and it would be a lot easier now that I've got the big car, but I only had a little Toyota Aygo at the time, and it was great fun doing that, Claire. It really was. So I'm glad you've seen the video of that. All right, my love. Good morning to Joanna. She's also there on YouTube. Hello, Joanna. Don't worry, I haven't sung yet. You haven't missed anything. Okay. Claire had a fantastic Premier Inn breakfast last weekend. Oh, they're very good, aren't they? I think, is it £10 Premier Inn breakfasts? Very good indeed. Fresh fruit salad, then bacon, scrambled and fried eggs, tomatoes, mushrooms, baked beans, the pancakes and the maple syrup. Pancakes and maple syrup. Claire, if you ever go to America, you need to go to Denny's. Oh, Denny's. I never forget the first time I went to a Denny's, which was in Florida. They have the best breakfast. It's like stepping back in time as well. It really is the excellent way that you're served and just the endless amount of food that they seem to have in America. Oh, I'm all for moving to Florida. Thank you very much. All you can eat breakfast, she said at the Premier Inn, £10.50 including the tea. That's not bad at all, is it, eh? Not bad at all. Over on Facebook Live, who's there today? Let's have a quick look. Lewis. Good morning, Lewis. Lewis Bannerman in house. Good morning to you, sir. There's Tommy Flynn. Hello, Tommy. Adrian Richardson. Good morning to you. Dr. SOS Gregorian is speaking from his holiday place in Yerevan in Armenia. Good morning to you, Mr. Gregorian. See, it don't matter where he is in the world, he's there. He's a true follower. A true follower. I've had me feel a bit like Jesus this morning. Maybe I'll even crucify myself later on the wall behind you, just for added fun for you. All right. Hello to Mark Jones, who's at work this morning. Shania in the house there on the Isle of Wight. Michael Lawrence. Good morning to you, Michael. Diane Jebb. Michael Bowman. Hello, little Michael. All right. There's the delightful LaBelle. I'm sure you've been into one or two Denny's as well, haven't you, LaBelle? We like Denny's. Good morning to the man of my dreams. Oh, please. Hardly a man, dear. Just getting home from a new bi-weekly show here on Long Island, New York. Yes, you've got a lot of posters going. You're very busy at the moment, aren't you, my love? Fantastic to be so busy. I like being busy. I'm not someone to sit here and do nothing, you know, all the time. Adam the plumber's there. Good morning, Adam. What happened to that picture of that piano you might be selling? Oh, by the way, how much is it? Where's that picture of that piano you might be selling? I'm waiting for the picture. As promised, another man who breaks his promises to me. Oh, there's been so many over the years. Kevin Webster, good morning to you. Kevin, I keep getting a friend request from you, which I don't think is from you, if you see what I mean. Yeah? I don't think it's from you, so I've rejected it a few times. And the very fact that you're there in front of me now indicates to me that that isn't you. You've got to be very careful on Facebook, boys and girls. There's a lot of people who pretend to be someone who aren't. And what they do is nick someone's pictures, for example, Kevin Webster's, and they collect them all together. Then they open an account and they call themselves Kevin Webster and put pictures of you up. So you must be very, very careful of that, boys and girls. And I've had quite a few from you over the last few months now, which I keep rejecting. And the fact that you're there in front of me now indicates to me that they are indeed dodgy names. So be careful of that, gang. Good morning to Wayne Martin, who's in Leeds at the moment. What are you doing up there? Did you get lost on that bus, dear? Are you driving people the wrong way? You need a little sat-nav. I don't know if he was with us yesterday, Wayne, but some bloke, he wanted to drive to Rome. And he put in on his sat-nav, ROM, omitting the E, and ended up in Germany, down a ditch somewhere. Morning to John Aitken, good morning. Gearing up to go to the gym again, not in the mood, but I have to get rid of my jelly belly. Have you changed what you eat, John? Because just going to the gym won't do it. You've got to do something about your eating as well, darling, if you're eating the wrong stuff like I do. Lewis hasn't had his breakfast yet. He might do brunch. Oh, go and have a breakfast and a lunch, Lewis. Go on. You know you want to, love. You know you don't start snacking on the crisps. That's where it all goes wrong. Graham Kennedy, good morning. Happy Wednesday to you, Graham Kennedy Eads. Morning to you, sir. I think there's someone talking to you there. Yes, I can see that is you, Kevin. So I'll continue ignoring all the other ones that come through like that, okay? So thanks for letting us know there. Good. I didn't manage to get to the swimming pool yesterday, unfortunately. Literally, as I finished the show, I was going to do the you know, I always write a summary of the show. Once I've finished the show, I then sit here usually and write a little summary and tag that onto the recorded version of the show. And I thought, well, I'll do that later. And I closed the computer down, went out there, got my bits and pieces together, and suddenly my phone bleeped. It went bleep, bleep. But I don't think it went bleep, bleep. I can't remember what noise it made. And it said to me, Sharon Butler has arrived at the Chapel Hill Marina, which is my sister. And I thought, oh, I wonder why it said that. Because she'd arrived here. And then suddenly she's walked past the window in front of me with Kim, who's her sister-in-law. She's my sister's husband's sister, if you see what I mean. My sister's husband's sister. Yeah, that sounds right. And they came, well, we just come to see you. We were going out for a coffee. I said, oh, you've literally just caught me. 2 minutes later, I would have been gone down to the swimming pool. So she said, well, we'll just come to say hello. We'll have a quick look round, because I can't remember why she was here now. We'll have a quick look. I said, well, where are you going now? Well, we're going for coffee. And I'm like, oh, do you want to go to the garden centre? Yeah, we can go to the garden centre. Oh, well, yeah, okay. Let's go there then. So didn't get down to the swimming pool again yesterday. So I put my stuff back down and we jumped in my car and we ended up going to a lovely garden centre, actually, Bell's, which is, I don't know if it's Boston or a little bit further out than Boston, but and it's just a garden centre. Literally, you go in, bags of earth, few pots, some tools and plants. That's it. The trouble with garden centres, a lot of them, in my humble opinion, is that they do too much now. You can go into a garden centre, certainly the one in Bracknell, the big one in Bracknell is called Longacres. There's one round here called Johnson's, and you go in and yet the plants are there. There's the pots, there's the tools, and there's kitchens, and there's food for sale, and there's a restaurant in there, and there's clothes for sale, and that bloke's selling fireplaces, and that one over there is selling double glazing. They're like little villages, and it's just too much. There's just too much stuff in some of these garden centres. I like to go in a garden centre and all it's got is plants and garden stuff. You know, some of them have got so big now. Anyway, this little one, which is, I suppose it's about half an hour's drive from here, 20 minutes to half an hour's drive from here. It just sells plants. And I went in there, you know, started having a little look around to suss out the prices first. And they were actually very reasonably priced. You may remember last week we went to it was either last week or the week before we went to a garden centre. And I liked the look of this rhododendron and I picked it up. And it was 25 quid for one plant. It wasn't big, it was about that big, you know, 25 quid this plant was. Well, in Johnson's, it was £17.99. I thought, well, that looks a bit more reasonable. Then I bought up these two what they call pygmy, pyrie, pymori, something, py something. And they'd obviously just done them off cuttings, you know, and they were quite small, but they were £3.99 and buy one get one free. So I had two of those, and I had a larger one. The most I paid for a plant in there was £12. I bought a larger pie something or other for about £12, which was, you know, so big. A couple of more pots. I still need one more big pot. 3 bags of earth, and some other little bits and pieces. And I was quite pleased with what I bought in there. Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all. So we came out of there, and it was nice to be trusted. I do like to be trusted. You know? For example, I said to her, do you do bags of earth? Yeah, they're outside, my love. I said, have you got something like 3 for £10? She said, yep, they'll be the ones on the end. Okay, I'll just go out and have a look. So I went out and had a look, left my plants there. You know. Come back in. Yeah, I'll have 3 of those. Shall I bring them in? She said, no, that's all right, my love. She said, just pay for me and then you can take them as you go out and put them straight in your car. Trust. I like to be trusted. It's like when I went to play the organ first at church. Went in to see the priest. Okay, I'd been going to and from the church, you know, over a number of years. But nevertheless, he didn't really know me. And knew I played the organ from. Yeah, okay, yeah, you can come and have a go for us. All right, then he said, right, I'll take you into here. That's where the key is kept. Just let yourself in here. And I was trusted. I like to be trusted. I don't need to be followed around. So that's like when I used to work for British Telecom. You know, some of the people in there, you go in their houses, and I do understand it. There are dodgy people out there who will steal from you. I know that. I know that. But nevertheless, I used to go in some houses and some places you'd be completely left alone to do the job. You know, and on your hands and knees, putting a new socket on the floor or running some wire and left. And other people would just constantly follow you around the house. Most annoying. Most annoying. Let's just read a couple of your messages coming through here. John says that my diet is so boring. Lots of salad and fish. Oh, that does sound boring. I don't eat fish. I don't eat anything with a face, I'm afraid. Unless it's pretty. Adrian, a Long Acres Garden Centre is wonderful. They do really nice ice cream and fresh flowers. The smell of the flower department is beautiful. So he's been there. Yes, and indeed it is. But they've got so much other stuff there, Adrian. It's just so much stuff. I just want to see plants, which they've got plenty of them outside, haven't they? Good morning to Mike Reese Ponto. Good morning. Started watching on Twitter, but didn't like it. So back on Facebook. Why didn't you like it on Twitter? What's wrong with it on there? Oh, I mean, you can't message via Twitter at all, can you? Never mind. Adrian says, Chris, I'm really sorry to say this, but I will not trust you with my ice cream or my cakes. All that will be left with crumbs and dribbles and maybe a little note saying, thank you, Chris. Or there won't be any dribbles on there, Adrian. I lick the plate. I would lick the plate. LaBelle, yes, is usually busy, but for some reason this year it's even more so. I know you don't stop, do you? I think it's good. It's good to be busy, my love. From this new venture, plus the other events added onto my regular theatre life, I'll be spreading myself into even thinner. I wish I could spread myself thin. I really do. Spreading myself even thinner than usual. I'm everywhere. There's just more locations I need to be at or in. No, it's good. It's good, LaBelle. An old DJ once, when I was just starting out, when I was about 20 or 21, there was this DJ, worked at a place called the Royal Oak in Hammersmith, which is no longer there. His name was Dolly DJ, and he must have been in his late 50s when I first met him. And I was trying to break into it, and he said, the advice I will give you is if a job is offered and the money is right, take the job. It doesn't matter where it is, who it's for, what the equipment's like, or what the customers are like. Just take the job, you end the night, and you take the money, and if you work by that, you will always be fine. And I took his advice, and I DJ'd in some dumps, I don't mind telling you, some absolute dumps. And in front of some really horrible people, not necessarily horrible to me, but just horrible people. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And I did do the job. And I did take the money, and it has seen me all right over these years. Not a bad bit of advice, that one, is it? Adrian, did you work at the Royal Oak in Hammersmith? No, I didn't. No, I couldn't get in there. The bloke in there who runs GAY now, no, he was in there. I couldn't get in. But it doesn't matter. I got the black cap instead. You either tended to work at one or the other, whichever it was, you know. Tommy Flynn remembers Dolly DJ. He was a lovely chap. He was such a nice bloke. He died some years ago now. I went to his funeral in one of those places in Wales with two L's, which is practically the whole of Wales, the whole of Wales, isn't it? Maybe Clondidno, something like that. Remember driving. It's the only time I ever got 3 points on my licence for speeding in a Land Rover Defender of all things. I mean, it wouldn't go any faster. I think I got done at about 90 on the motorway or something like that. That's years and years ago now. But I think it surprised the policeman when he saw the vehicle and how fast it was going. Never mind. Anyway, from that garden centre, we did actually go to Johnson's, which was the more expensive garden centre with the kitchens and everything in there. And we went in there just for a meal because they do some really nice meals in there. And I bought them 3 meals for, I think it came to about just over £20, something like that. £20. It was about £20, which wasn't bad at all. And I had a really nice vegan shepherd's pie, which is kind of made out of lentils and mashed up bits and pieces. Really, really nice though, with a potato topping. They do chips in there to die for. Potato chips. LaBelle, you would call them fries, but thick. I don't know. What do you call thick? Do you have thick fries in America? I know you've got like French fries, but they're very thin. We call our chips. I know your chips are like, we call them crisps. You know, in a packet, they're crisps to us, right? But the chips, we have chips that are like really thick, about 1/4 of an inch thick, you know, all around. Anyway, they did those in there yesterday. My sister, what did my sister have? She had some sort of chicken salad or something like that, I think it was. Tuna salad maybe, something like that. And Kim, her sister-in-law, she had a ham sandwich. 3 drinks, and that comes to about 20 quid, which I thought was very reasonable. And it's nice food in there, and you're not hungry afterwards. Nothing worse than going somewhere and you're hungry afterwards because there's a small portion. That doesn't let me tell you, that doesn't happen in America, right? You go to America, you pay for your dinner, you're not hungry afterwards. There's no extras. You don't get charged like over in this bloody country. Or you want onions, oh, that's an extra 50 pence. Or you want tomato sauce, that's an extra 20 pence. Everything is charged for. In America, you just pay one price and you stuff your face until you can't eat anymore. It's wonderful. Especially going back to Claire, those pancakes and maple syrup. Shania is very shocked now. Chris Reardon speeding, never would have thought that was in those days. Not anymore, I don't. I don't need to go fast down the motorway or anything, Shania. That's why I haven't got to the Isle of Wight. I actually left 2 years ago and I still haven't managed to get there yet. I go so slow. Yeah, LaBelle takes the jobs. The more I'm offered, the more I say yes. I'm just waiting for something to finally stick. Yeah, you must. That's how to do it, LaBelle. You're not going wrong there, my darling. John says Dolly was a lovely man. He called me his toy boy. He always played the Sneater song when I arrived at the Royal Oak. He was a wonderful man, John. The only thing is, you remember that sticky screen that used to come down? There was this video screen that and he always used to play Chain Reaction like 3 times a night on that thing. He used to play Chain Reaction a lot and Donna Summer, This Time I Know It's For Real. Do you remember that one? And this screen used to come down. You used to push a button. The screen would come down. It would get stuck. Where there's so much nicotine on it. And he would have to give it a little bit of a tug for it to come down. Yeah. Ah, LaBelle, we do have thick fries or chips. They're called steak fries. Okay. Okay, I've heard of steak fries. It's a thicker cut and they are amazing. Oh, steak chips. Chips. When I come to New York one day, I will buy you some steak chips. And I can meet all your friends and all that then. That would be nice. Oh, thank you, Adam. Thank you, Adam. I can just see that pop up there. If it's all right with you, I'll check that out after the show and I'll have a proper look at that. All right, he's just sent me a picture of a piano for sale. £150, dear. Oh, it's so much to spend, dear. Oh, I was hoping to get something for 50 quid. Anyway, what's he say? Morning. I'll have a look later. That's a personal thing, isn't it? Thank you, Adam, for that. I'll have a little look later. Andy. Good morning, Andy. That's quite a good look with the dark glasses and the beard there. Quite like that. Nice one. So we had our meals and then we got back in the car. I drove them back. We went back to where my sister lives in Woodhall Spa. She had some bits and pieces and I wasn't in a rush to do anything. Too late for me to go swimming. So I drove back to Woodhall Spa and we went to the doctor's. I think she ordered a prescription or something in there. Then we had to go to a hardware. So we got 2 hardware shops in Woodhall Spa because I wanted an attachment. I've got in my bedroom here in the caravan an air conditioning unit. And the pipe literally is pushed into the wall and I wanted some sort of plate to go around it with something sticking out so it can be a bit more professional looking because it looks a bit... if you move the thing, it comes out. You see what I mean? It comes out of the wall and I thought, oh Christ, you have to be so careful. So I wondered if there was a plate and neither of these 2 shops had one. But I have now found one on Amazon which I've ordered for about... And it wasn't cheap. It was about like 15... It was about 15 quid for this bit. But I do object to paying like a lot of money for bits of plastic, don't you? I really do. Good morning to Katie Ann Patterson. Good morning, dear. Morning to you, my love. She's with us live this morning. Katie watches a lot of recordings, don't you, my love? Sometimes she's not with us live, so she watches the recordings. Then I had an ice cream. We went into this. There's an ice cream shop here called, I think it's called Forrester's or something like that. And I went in there, and the 3 of us are in there. They've gone and sat down. I said, well, what do you want? Well, we don't want one. I said, well, I can't have one myself. No, go and have one. So I ordered an ice cream. The flavour I had was called All Sorts. And it really was. There were like layers of strawberry and chocolate and vanilla all on top of each other. So I had one of those. Then we went to pick up my brother-in-law, Martin. Because he hadn't been out. Came back round to the caravan. My sister made some tea. I did a little bit of my gardening and then they went home. I had a little bit of sleep. Woke up again at about 7:10 at night. I thought I'd do my gardening now, and literally as I walked out, it started raining. It was just a little bit of rain. I thought, oh no, I can cope with this. I put on my hooded top, up come the hood, and I carried on putting my plants in. And then it absolutely chucked it down. Nope, didn't stop me. I carried on. We are British, and we can carry on through thick and thin. We can, dear. That is chips. French fries or steak chips. We carry on through thick and thin. So I completed my gardening out there. Came back in here. I watched Holby City on the telly, which is great. I don't know if any of you watch Holby City. I think Tommy Flynn watches Holby, if I remember rightly. And one of the horrible characters is back on there, Isaac. He was the other half of Dominic, and he used to beat Dominic up, right? Anyway, a few years has passed since he's been in it, and since then Dominic has married someone else, and this Isaac has come along with his dad, who is supposedly ill. I think he's made his dad ill to get into the hospital, and he's doing all sorts of bad things, dreadful. But he doesn't do it physically. He does it, what's the word? Psychologically. I think that's the word. He's really, really horrible. Really horrible. So he's in it. And then after that, I watched a film on Netflix, which was like a shipwreck type film. Girl meets boy. Girl goes out to travel the world, meets a slightly older lad who's got this boat, goes off with him to do a bit of sailing. Then he meets up with two friends who ask him to take their boat and to sail it back to somewhere which is quite a long way away, and they pay him $10,000 to do it. They've said yes. They've taken the boat, and they end up in this storm, and it all smashes up the boat, and then well, I can hear birds on the roof. Often I hear birds walking around the roof, and then the boat does get a bit smashed up, and then it cuts to her, and she's on the boat on her own, right? So she's on this boat on her own, and she's looking for this bloke, and she's got the eye things like this, and all of a sudden she shouts out, "Yeah, hello, I'm over here. Hello, I'm coming to get you. I'm coming to get you." Anyway, but we're looking through these binoculars, like the camera. We can't see any. All you can see is the sea or the ocean, whatever it is. So it's a bit weird. Eventually, I think she falls in or jumps into the sea or something like that. And then it cuts back to the boat, and she's pulling her boyfriend onto the boat. I'm just trying to remember now. She's pulling her boyfriend onto the boat, and then they fall asleep and wake up, and he's got like a broken leg and damage to his chest and all this, and she looks after him, and it shows him, them pumping out water from the boat, trying to keep the boat going. They bring up tins of food, and then, well, we haven't got much food, you're going to have to go fishing. And she's a vegetarian, so she don't want to eat fish. Well, we haven't got enough food for the rest. And then he says to her, well, I'm a dead weight on here. She says, no, and I keep that going. Anyway, so it carries on, and then something else in the film happens. It's probably good that I can't tell you the whole film. Something else in the film happens. I think she starts getting headaches and things like that because they're not eating so much, and they're in the sun all the time, of course, and it's very hot. And she starts remembering things in her head while she's like the dreams. That's it, dreams. You're seeing these dreams and things that have happened in the past. And one of the things that's in this dream that's happened in the past is her boyfriend, when they're in the storm, falling out of the boat, okay, and then going down in the sea, and you see him drown and he dies. And I'm thinking, well, that's a bit odd, because the other little bits of film they've shown you are all things that you've already seen in the film. But that little bit, you haven't seen that in the film. And so this bloke is clearly dead and is floating around, underneath the ocean like that. And then it cuts back to her, and she's waking up on this boat. And I suddenly realised she'd been hallucinating the whole time. He died in the storm. And then it starts showing you around the boat where he had been laying and being looked after. There's no one there. And other little bits that had been in the film, like when rain came down and everyone was dancing and happy and she was dancing and happy, well, he was laying there, but then it shows you he's not there. And the whole thing had been a hallucination from her. It's a great film to watch, really good, and it's on Netflix, okay? Adrift, I think it's called Adrift, Adrift. Has anyone seen that? Really, really good. Adrift. Try and watch that. Hello, Diane. Diane says yes, she's seen the film. It's pretty good. It really is. Very, very good film. And beautiful sea and what you can see there. I do like a film with some nice scenery, you know. I quite like the David Attenborough stuff when you see the forests and all the little animals and all that. Brilliant film. So do try and watch that one, Adrift. I haven't told you everything that's in there, but it's very clever. Because the whole time, for the majority of the film, you think she's looking after him, and you know it does look like he's on the boat and all this. You know that was all filmed, obviously, properly. And then it was when he drowned, and you sort of thought, well, that's weird. How can he be dead when she's looking after him on a boat? And of course, when it came back, and then she's waking up, and it suddenly comes to you, he's not even there. The whole thing had been hallucination. Great film. Please watch it. Adrift on the Netflix. Okay. Let's just scroll back a little bit there for you boys and girls. Mike, bet you got up to a few naughty things when you was a lad. Terrible things, Mike. Terrible, terrible things that I cannot go on to on this program. Oh, Mike. That's why I have to take the pills. John Aitken, have you watched Years and Years yet? It's the best programme in ages. I've watched about 2 episodes. I'm having trouble getting into that, John. Having trouble getting into that. No, I don't know if I'm going to continue watching that. There's something that's not clicking in that for me, I'm afraid. Kelly Kim, good morning, Kelly Kim. Hello, you lovely lady. There's Kelly Kim. She's busy at the moment as well. Kelly Kim, can finally watch you as on half term. Oh wow, missing you. Oh how nice, how nice. Kelly Kim used to come to the karaoke order. She's been coming to my karaoke's for years actually, all over the place. I think the one in North London she's been to, where I am now, the Central Station one. She's been that once or twice, but it's quite a long way for her to come, I think, so she can't come there. She's been directing her debut in London, Jekyll and Hyde the musical. Oh, what's that song? The Moment. Is it The Moment? Give me the moment. This is the moment. Da 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 da. This is my moment. La 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 la. Oh, I changed keys then. Did you notice that? Very professional. Very I should be in the Eurovision Song Contest, I'm telling you. She said, now it's all over, I'll come and see you. Well, I'll be there Monday. I'll be there Monday or Friday, Kelly Kim. If you want to come along to that, can you let us know? If you want to, let us know before you get there and send your requests over on the Facebook if you want, if you're going to be late, so it gets you in. Otherwise, it gets to a point where it's just too late to take any more requests, my darling. All right, but that's fantastic. I'm so glad. How did it go? Did it go all right? That must be something directing. Was it children you were directing or adults? I always think children are probably, when it comes to like a show or telling people how to do stuff or what to do, it's probably easier to tell children than adults. Would I be right in that? Or have you never produced, would that be right, directed adults? Not sure if you have or not, my darling. Adam, give me a ring after the show. Always spent 2 hours on the traffic. M25 to Horsham. Yes, I heard that on the news this morning. We got that news up here, believe it or not. There was something, I think it was it the M23 there was a problem? So that's around that bit, isn't it? M25 to Horsham. Yeah, now here, so I'll watch the rest of the show later. I do hope so. Or you can finish now. Well, what's the time now? Is it 10 o'clock already? Blimey, it goes so quick doing this show. Kelly was directing 30 adults. Worse than children. Yes, I thought you'd say that. Yeah, I can imagine that. The only other thing, of course, with adults, and it probably would be the same with me, you know, if he was trying to... I think ego's get in the way. There's a lot of people with very big egos. I think there really is. Big, big egos. I ran a very small internet talk radio station once, and there was a problem. There was an ego problem on there where people wanted something, and they would say, "Oh, well, so and so said this, and so said that," and it was all a bit like that. Do you know what I gave up in the end? It was just too much. I thought it was too much. Oh, 2 degrees where Katie is tonight. Where are you, Katie? Oh, too cold where you are tonight, girl. Oh, you don't like the cold. Poor LaBelle, she must get the cold. Is she still with us at the moment? LaBelle must get the cold because she's a night person as well, LaBelle, isn't she? John says the programme gets much better years and years. Try it again. Well, I haven't deleted it completely yet, so I'll carry on with it for another episode or two and see how I can get on with that. All right. Today, good morning to Joseph McDonald. Good morning to Joseph McDonald. Hi, Chris. Would love to hear your memories of the penny farthing. I loved it so much. Do you remember Raj, the DJ? No, I don't. I don't remember Raj. Don't remember. No, I don't. Obviously an Asian lad, was he? I don't know. Can't remember Raj. Sorry. Don't remember Raj. No. Katie. Oh, of course, Katie's in Queensland. Yeah, that's what I meant. I knew he was in Australia. Sometimes I can't remember everything about everyone. Sorry, Katie. Queensland, Australia. I never thought you got down to those sort of temperatures there. I thought winter in... did I say good morning to Maureen? Good morning, Maureen. Sorry, I see you pop up again there. Yes, I thought Queensland in Australia, your winters were sort of 10, 15, 20 degrees. Is that incorrect? 2 degrees in Australia. And of course, if you're not used to that sort of temperature, I mean, we get cold, but not like really, 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 really cold, unless it goes sort of below, below sort of 1 degree, you know, or something like that. Don't know. John, I don't go on the scene. Far too many. Oh yeah, 2 right there. Absolutely 2 right there. So this morning, I'll be going to see my friend Tom Edwards, who used to be on television, used to read the news and stuff like that. So I'm going over to see him for a bit of lunch at 12 o'clock this afternoon, which means another day of not swimming, which is very, very bad. Very, very bad. Joseph used to come on after me. Raj. I don't remember Raj the DJ at the Penny Farthing. So I used to finish at 3 o'clock, and then we had. I think we didn't have anything after me. Are you sure? I don't think there was anything on after me at the Penny Farthing. I did 12 to 3. Then I stopped at 3. I went over to Mum's for lunch. After stopping off at the Common, I think. Had lunch at my mum's, had a sleep at my mum's, and came back there for 8 or 9 o'clock. I don't remember a DJ called Raj at all. No. Good morning to Jason Carter. Morning, Jason. Welcome to the show. Adam would like to do this. This is your life on me, with experiences of life and what you have done. This is your life. Ba, ba, ba. Eamon Andrews. You remember him? Oh, wonderful host. Wonderful host. Oh, Katie does say it does get cold where she is. West of Brisbane. Well, I never knew that. I never knew you got sunk to such low levels in Queensland. 28 degrees where Joseph is in Mercia. You lucky thing. Lucky, lucky, lucky. I've got some stories for you here, boys and girls. Greg James, DJ on Radio 1. He does the breakfast show. Now, I never tried to get into radio. I loved radio. In the 1970s and the 1980s, I listened. I kind of fell out of love with it a little bit, but in those days, we had what I call personality radio, where, yeah, there was lots of music played, but also it was the personality of the DJ that attracted you to the show. We don't really have that now. They're all basically sounding the same, peoples. There's no real personality that attracts me to listen to a radio station anymore, and I don't listen. And in the 70s, I wanted to be a radio DJ, and in the 80s, I really did. Seeing as it is now, no. One thing I've never wanted to do is a breakfast show. I mean, really, getting up at such an early time in the morning. The breakfast DJs get the most money if you're that way orientated. You will also have the most listeners, I think, at that time of the day. But nevertheless, it's not something that ever appealed to me. If offered a show, I would probably want to do mid-morning. mid-morning to early afternoon, something like 10 to 1, 11 to 1, something like that I'd like to do, you know. Anyway, in the Sun this morning, it says, when he landed the Radio 1 breakfast show a year ago, Greg James, he's quite a good-looking lad, isn't he, Greg James? Better than that other one. Who was the one before him? I really wasn't keen on him. When he landed the Radio 1 breakfast show a year ago, Greg James said it was his dream job. But 12 months after announcing he'd accepted the role, he has admitted he questions his decision every day because of the early wake-up calls are so rough. It says, in an exclusive interview, Greg says, there was only a very short moment of despair every morning, maybe a 5-minute window, especially when I'm trudging to the shower like, this is mad, why am I doing this? I know. Then you do the show and you think this is the best job in the world. And I was like that with the DJing, really. Certainly up to about 5 years ago, when I used to be DJing, I'd be standing there playing me music and thinking, my God, this is so lucky to be doing this. I don't want to do it now. Well, I don't do it now. I don't really DJ at all anymore. I got fed up with it. But at the time, yeah, I had a fantastic time DJing. Fantastic. People I met and crowds I played to, wow. The much-loved presenter spent 6 years hosting the drive time slot on the station before swapping shows with Nick Grimshaw. See, I was never keen on Nick Grimshaw. Now he can't stay out late because he has to get up early for work. Describing the effect it's had on his social life, Greg says, I don't see my friends as much as I did when I was doing afternoons. I knew it would be challenging, but it's even more challenging than I expected. But that's a good thing. I'd done 6 years on that show, on the afternoon show, and I think I'd done everything I wanted to do and could have done with it. Despite the tough job and even tougher hours, Greg is feeling better than ever after opening up last year about struggling with his mental health. And I think you find a lot of people who do any sort of show business, whether that be DJing in a little pub somewhere or an international film star, for example, Robin Williams. Robin Williams, a man who it appeared on the outside had everything. The big smiling face, wonderful, enormous amount of talent, killed himself, depressed. A lot of people in this sort of entertainment thing have this. I had my own depression for years, 15, 16 years, and then I went to see someone who talked about it, and that helped. I no longer sink to the bottom. That doesn't happen anymore. Okay, it goes down a bit and up a bit, like it's just kind of around the middle most of the time. I do get quite mad sometimes, I must warn you. I do go quite mad sometimes, but yes, and that's the thing. You need to talk to people about it. The story goes on. Since he got married, writer Bella McKay and got a dog, which he believes has helped him keep him grounded. He explained, it's probably been my favourite year of my life. I don't just mean the job. I got married as well. Even though it was the most exciting year I've ever had, I probably felt the calmest and most uncluttered in my head that I've ever been. So it's been good. So, I mean, there you are. You know, it's not always the best job in the world to be getting up at, I don't know what time you get up for a radio breakfast. So I think they start at about 6 o'clock in the morning, don't they? So you'd have to be at the studio by 5 a.m. at the latest, wouldn't you? Which I don't know where he lives. Maybe he has to get up at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work. Oh no, that's not for me, dear. Mid-morning shows, mid-morning. Michael Pullman, depending where you are in Queensland, I'm on the Sunshine Coast. It's 9 degrees here. The further north, the warmer it is. Ah, right, yeah, north. You see, I always think, of course, you're there, aren't you, on the globe? You're there. I forget that. So if that's the globe, you're there. So when you say north, north is going towards the equator, isn't it? I had in my head that you were up there. No, you're not. You're there, aren't you? So as you go north, you're getting more towards the equator, which is warmer. Painful in the summer, though, isn't it there? Very steamy and hot and sticky in Queensland. I have been there. I thought it was a lovely place, Queensland. Not too keen on the snakes and the spiders. And the crocodiles. Mike used to love one of the first ILR stations, Radio Victory, here in Portsmouth, that broadcast for 11 years. Well, all these little stations have been taken over now by large companies, you see. That's the trouble. And it's a shame. It is a shame that they've all losing their personality bit by bit. Okay, we'll do one more story today. I have so many stories here, but we'll do this one. In the Daily Mirror, worst places to shop on the high street according to their customers. What's the worst shop you go in? Not a small shop, like one of the big ones. Okay? Here we go. W.H. Smith has once again been voted the UK's worst high street shop in an annual survey. The chain, which has constantly finished bottom of the Which survey in previous years, propped up the table with a meagre customer score of just 50%, just below Homebase and the former Bunnings on the 53 and Sports Direct on 54%. Now, in my opinion, I've been in W.H. Smith, and it's just messy. There's so much stuff in there. I don't know what it is about. You go in Ryman's and they sell similar stuff, but there's not so much of it. Ryman's seem very well set out. W.H. Smith, it's just all over the place. And the most annoying people are those people that stand there at the magazine section and read the magazines without buying them. Customers slammed W.H. Smith for its poor value for money, service and in-store experience, and criticised the cramped and messy stores. The high street place retorted that it served 3 million customers every week and maintained a presence in the high street where many others were closing stores, which is quite right. They're still there. They are still there. Shoppers also told Which that Homebase and Bunnings was difficult to navigate and that it was hard to find anything in overcrowded shelves and difficult to find staff for guidance. Sports Direct was described by one shopper as having a very oppressive atmosphere. I go along with that. You go in Sports Direct, there's something that doesn't feel nice in there. It's just, you don't want to be there. You know, you go in certain shops, John Lewis. I know that's a much bigger store. It's a department store. You go in there and you feel welcome. You feel welcome to go in there. You go in Waitrose. You feel welcomed to go in there. I do most of my supermarket shopping now, as you well know, in Aldi. When I walk in Aldi, I don't feel particularly welcomed in there. But you get to the tills, and after a while you get to know the till staff, and you say hello, and you do feel welcomed at the till. Don't feel that in Sports Direct. In fact, sometimes you get to the desk in Sports Direct, and there's someone, you know, they're doing something, and it's almost like you're in their way of doing their job. You know, it's a bit like that in there. So I get that. Sports Direct, described by one shopper as being an oppressive atmosphere. I felt like, I tell you what, the worst place was Toys R Us, which is now gone. That was awful. Just soulless in there. Absolutely. Good morning to John True. Good morning, John. Nice to see you there. TK Maxx, Joseph McDonald has mentioned there. He doesn't like it in there. But yes, Toys R Us. We went in there one Christmas, some years ago now, before we started going to Hamleys, and we hated it. It was just stacks of boxes and just awful in there. Soulless. Absolutely soulless. And quite frankly, I'm glad they lost their business. I'm glad they lost their business. Awful place. The Daily Mirror story goes on. W.H. Smith says the survey accounted for the views of only 586 which subscribe. Is that all they asked? 586 people. And it's neither statistically relevant or meaningful relative to our loyal customer base, which is fair enough. The bottom rated shops, according to Which are, and going from bottom upwards, W.H. Smith, Homebase and Bunnings, Sports Direct, JD Sports. People don't like going in there. River Island, New Look. Is that a ladies' store, New Look, I think? House of Fraser. People don't like that. Peacocks and Clinton Cards. All places, and I must say I've been in several of those places. These are places where you get in and it's like you feel like you shouldn't really be in there, to be honest. And perhaps that's obviously not the way to run a business, is it? One of the best places to shop was Richer Sounds. Richer Sounds was voted the best retailer with a customer score of 89%, just ahead of outdoor and travel equipment train Rowan. I've never heard of Rowan. And John Lewis, there you go. John Lewis, 86% of people that go to John Lewis give it a good score. Customers praised Richer Sounds for its in-store experience, with shoppers appreciating services such as having purchases carried to their cars or the retailer paying for customer parking. See, it's the small things that matter. It's the small things that matter. It's something that you don't get in many shops. I find my purchasing experience in Currys often very unpleasant. I mean, we thought they'd turned around. I went in there to buy the new Hoover. I've tried the new Hoover. Well, I went into Currys to buy a new Hoover at the weekend, and a lady came up to us. Can I help you? Oh, we're just looking around. Okay. So when we'd looked and decided what I wanted, I then went and looked for the lady, and I thought, oh, she's nice. But then she kept going on and on about the bloody extended warranty, and I must have said no about 8 times. On and on and on. And of course that pissed me off. So they're no different. They're still pushing this crap at you all the time. So the new Hoover, I've tried the new Hoover. This might sound stupid, but there's too much suction on it. It sticks. It's really hard to push along this carpet. Not only that, when I do the lino, it's like it makes this noise, and the suction is so much that it's pulling the lino up from the floor. There's no adjustment to it either, so I'm not quite sure what to do. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with it, but the suction is so hard on it, and it literally is on and off. There's nothing to adjust on there, not even on the wheels or anything like that. Now, my one at home is got adjustments on it. So what I might do is because I've got no lino at home, I've got a stone floor at home. So I might take that Hoover back to my house and bring the house Hoover here and see how that goes. You can't win, can you? You can't win. Let's just scroll back there. Excuse me a moment. John Aiken says WH Smith is a terrible shop. I used to love it there. God. Oh, and his sister lives in Perth. She's got an electric blanket on. Is she really? Michael Lawrence said I should stick to Waitrose. It's so expensive, Michael. I never go in Waitrose spending less than 60 quid. You go in Aldi, you give them £10 and you get £8 change. All right, not as much as that, but you know what I mean. John, the staff at John Lewis and Debenhams look at me like I'm a shoplifter. Well, you do. You do. You do look like a shoplifter, John. I'm sorry, lovey. John True, hope you're well. John's flying out to Turkey today at 2 o'clock for a week for his birthday. Oh, excellent. We'll see if there's anything out there to bring back for you, mate. Thank you very much, John. Can I have a lad about 35? Tattoos, dark skin, please. Black if possible. Thank you. All right, John, I'll expect one in the post. Thank you very much. John agrees with Richer Sounds. Very nice staff. They know what they're talking about and mostly very cute. John only goes in shops to look at the staff, doesn't you, John? Adrian, when I turn up at Central Station and you see me, it seems that all I get is abuse. You don't open the door for me, you don't find me a seat, and you never find me a drink. But you always seem to be kind enough if I have chips to help yourself to the whole lot. I'm a poor vulnerable person. You can pick on me so I can do a survey about your customer servicing. No, I'm nasty to you, Adrian, because we don't really want you in there. That's the truth of it. So please don't come. Joseph, stop it. Joseph's got a problem with suction on his Hoover as well, hasn't he? Good morning to Junket Pumper. Junket Pumper, that's a good one. Is that Norfolk behind you? No, this is Lincolnshire. This is where I am. It's just up the road from me. That's just up the road from me. All right. And B-Jams, of course, was Iceland. That was bad in there as well. The customers, that felt a bit soulless in there, didn't it? Do you remember a store called Lipton's? Yes, I do. Yes, I do remember Lipton's. I do certainly remember Lipton's. They're not around anymore, are they? Not at all. Thank you. John True's going to try and bring me a lad back through customs. Thanks very much, John. Always a friend of yours, my friend. Thank you very much, John, and I'll see you soon, all right? Okay, doke, let's do today's birthdays, boys and girls. Happy birthday on this Wednesday, the 29th of May 2019. And we've only got 3 today. Callum Walker, good morning, Callum. A young 19 today. Good morning, Callum. Happy birthday to you. Stephen Cousins is today 64 years old. And Tom Millington, good morning, Tom. Tom was a DJ, weren't you, Tom? Morning, Tom. 40 years old today. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. I think it was DJ, weren't it? Was it you, Tom? Or have I got you or I might have you confused? I'm sure it was you. I'm sure he was a DJ, Tom, at some point. Wasn't you? I'm sure. I can't remember now. Never mind. I'm all over the place this morning. That'll do today. Thanks ever so much for joining us on the show today. Been a pleasure to talk to you as always, gang. And hopefully I'll see you again at some point tomorrow. Today, let me just scroll down here and see if I've messed anyone out. People get ever so upset when you don't read out their messages. Sometimes it happens, you know, you just don't see them because it's going so quickly. Peter Lake, good morning, Peter. Sun is shining in Woodall Spa again today. So, yes, indeed it is. Looks like a nice day. It wasn't so nice this morning, to be honest. It was a little bit horrible there. Sorry, Joanna. Joanna doesn't look forward to the birthday song. Junket says, I think Tesco women are the sexiest of all supermarkets. Is it the uniform? Is it the uniform, Junket? Junket's off to Tesco's now to go and look at the women in there, aren't you? Going, you have a nice time, my friend. Remember, no touching. Looking okay, no touching. And certainly no photographs. Thanks, gang. Have a lovely day. Thanks very much for watching and listening, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheerio now.